my career. Yes.
This was the other angle I asked about, the biggest, in your estimation, attribute that a good judge should have.
I believe a good judge should be highly professional, should be of very high integrity standards, and should be able to deliver to the people of Kenya. Yes.
So my last question, the issue of independence of a judge, and with it, tell me how a judge should be able to realize that, and speak a little bit about courage, under whatever circumstances a judge is supposed to operate. What's your view about it that you think makes you fall in a category of a good, courageous judge who will be independent regardless of whatever the circumstances that judge is operating under?
Thank you, Commissioner. A judge should be courageous, because the work we do is very sensitive, very demanding, and a judge should be able to manage the court, manage the work, and be able to serve the Kenyans equally, without any bias, without any other considerations, and that will call a judge to be able to say no where it's necessary to say no. It requires a judge to set boundaries in all spheres of life so that they can stand out beyond reproach. Yes.
Okay, taking that further, about the independence of the judiciary, which, as we all know, is underpinned in the Constitution in black and white. But still, the judiciary is still verified as not being independent. What is your view on this?
Thank you, Your Ladyship. My view is that the judiciary has come from far. Of course, there is a historical situation where the judiciary has come from, and that has created a perception in the minds of many Kenyans that the judiciary may still be in the old practice. But I believe through the years, the judiciary has improved in its independence, of course with the changes in the Constitution and the setting out clear provisions on the independence of the judiciary has made quite great strides. But I believe it's work in progress, because people have to change, people have to build their capacities in the area of independence.
So for you, what is required is public awareness.
Public awareness is critical.
The independence of the judiciary.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, moving on, you were also asked what will be the fundamental difference between being a magistrate and a judge.
Yes.
And I'll ask you a question on that. To what extent would you, as a judge, intervene in respect to arbitration proceedings? I'm aware that you don't deal with that as a magistrate.
Yes.
This is a new jurisdiction.
Yes.
Or a new area that you would encounter if you're successful as a judge.
Thank you, my lady. Under Article 35 of the Arbitration Act, I think there is room for the High Court to intervene. I know it has been an issue which has gone up to the Supreme Court, the case of Nyoto Aggrovate, and I think that is set out in that act, how the court can intervene in the determination of an arbitrator.
Okay.
Yes.
Moving on, you will also encounter a new jurisdiction of interpreting the Constitution, especially the validity of a statute or some provisions of a statute that may be challenged to be unconstitutional. What are the guiding principles when you are determining whether a statute is constitutional?
The guiding principle in considering whether a statute contravenes the Constitution First is to look at the statute and what the Constitution says and the provisions which are said to be contravened, and see whether there is any contravention. You also need to look at why the act, or the basis why the act has been created, to see whether it aligns with the principles and objects of the Constitution.
Very well. Justice Majanja.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon,
just
Judge.
one question. Under the Law of Succession Act, how is the estate of a deceased polygamous man who dies intestate distributed?
A deceased polygamous man, when the estate comes for distribution, the children of the deceased are treated equally. And if there are spouses who are surviving the deceased, they also get an equal portion as the children.
Have you come across criticism of that particular provision?
Yes, I know there are many challenges in that area,
Yes.
where many parties feel that they should be distributed according to houses.
But according to houses, but what is the problem if you go according to houses?
Of course, that would be discriminative. If there are houses with the lesser children, you'd find a house has 2 children, another one has 5. So if it was to go to be distributed according to the number of houses, some children would be disadvantaged.
What about the spouses? The criticism about the spouses, how the spouses are treated like children.
I think that's an issue. I haven't come across the law, but I agree that is an issue that is raised as concern, because
why do you think it's an issue?
Because when you look at the spouses, they have been equal partners with the deceased.
All the spouses or some of them?
All of them, because I believe because they are recognized, or the marriages are recognized. So if there are 2, 3 spouses, they had equal
What
status
about
with
the one who came first? The one who has been with the man for 40 years and the one who came, and what happens?
Yeah, I know there have been that argument, whether the one who came earlier should get a larger portion, but I think the law says parties in a marriage are equal.
Parties in a marriage between
Yes.
man and wife, or between man and wives?
I think now that the law recognizes the polygamy institution, it would be disadvantageous to say.
Have it come across any decisions on that point?
I can't call in, yes, for
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Honorable CJ. Honorable Gedi, I have a few questions related to. I've read your judgments and some of the rulings you have presented, and I think you have. They're quite outstanding, a number of them. In your view, how do you? The judgments in the High Court are different from those in the magistrate courts. Do you agree with me on that line? Will
Yes,
they be
Judge.
different? The structure and the presentation.
Yes, Judge. I agree they are different.
In what way?
I think the judges are able to go quite deep. They are able to expound the law wide and we do, and also because of the experience of the structure body of the justice, we put the claim, if it is a civil matter, if it is a criminal matter, the charge. We set out the charge. We look at the evidence, analyze the evidence, then we look at the law, and then set out the issues for determination, then come to the conclusion, the determination.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. the so when do you how do you do your research, and do you rely on a president in your judgments?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw a few which didn't have many presidents, authorities.
But I think most of them I have authorities.
Yeah,
They may not be as many,
yeah.
but I ensure that I have looked at the law as much as possible.
What, as a chief magistrate, what is the area that is quite prevalent where you are based now in Nyeri?
Now in Nyeri, my lord, the area that is more prevalent is succession. Yeah, that's the major area that we are dealing with. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Finally, have you read judgments of? You said you have been mentored by senior jurists or judges. Have you read the judgments of people like Justice Madan?
Sometimes back, not in the recent past.
Okay.
Yes.
Which judge in the old Court of Appeal impressed you? Impressed you in terms of his or her decisions?
In the old Court of Appeal?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. I can't put a finger on any of the judges, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon once again, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
The last time you were here, what question did I ask you with regards to your sample writing? If you can remember.
Can I recall?
Because I'm usually very good, my memory is usually very good, and among the issues that Judge Ibrahim has highlighted, I asked specifically last time, use of precedent in your judgment.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still an issue, because what you have presented, quite a number do have decided cases by superior courts. Okay. Do you have anything to say about that?
I am trying to think which one doesn't have a single reference. I can't.
There's Alice Mukete and Francis Nzioka. But anyway, he'll create time and go through them.
Yes.
There are those that have. No, that one has. I think I'll by the time I'm done, I'll give you all the cases that don't have. Because even this particular one, there's only one where you've just like thrown it, not really giving the context of that particular decision and why you're relying on it.
But I think all of them have reference to past authorities. Maybe it
Okay.
didn't come out very clearly, but I think all of them
Okay.
have.
So what approach do you use in deciding cases?
My approach is, I think I'm liberal, that the law is developing and it speaks to the parties. Yes.
Okay. So under Article 45 of the Constitution, it speaks about family. What is the difference between family and marriage? Is there a difference?
The article speaks of a marriage as between a man, a person and a person of the opposite sex, and it doesn't really close a marriage to those who are married, because there is cohabitation, assumption of marriage, so it can be.
So is there a
interpreted.
difference between marriage and a family?
I would think it could be very, very minimal. I'm
Very
trying
minimal.
to get the
Okay.
difference.
Let
I
me
can't put
then-
on it. Yes.
You're trying to respond to the questions that I was. So under Article 45(1),
Yes.
the family is the natural and fundamental unit of society and the necessary basis of social order, and shall enjoy the recognition and protection of the state. That is the family.
Yes.
And then sub-article 2, every adult has the right to marry a person of the opposite gender based on the free consent of the parties.
Yes.
Going back to family, not marriage, what other forms of families that are outside marriage that should be protected and recognized by the state?
There are families that are single parent, families. There are families where the parties have agreed to come together without the intention of getting married. Yes. There are families of course, it ends up to be single-parent marriages, families. That's where one spouse has passed on. Yes, I would think of those.
I was hoping you would make reference to the decision you have shared with us, the
Okay.
woman-to-woman marriage.
The customary marriage and woman-to-woman, yes.
Woman-to-woman marriage.
Yes, yes.
So that should also
Yes, it
be
should
recognized
it should be
and,
recognized.
and protected.
Yes.
So about cohabitation, last year the Supreme Court made a decision with regards to presumption of marriage. And according to the Supreme Court, presumption of marriage is on its deathbed. What are your thoughts around that particular statement? Presumption of marriage is on its deathbed.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think I have seen that authority. I think the Supreme Court said there must be an intention, so that it is not just a presumption because people have been together. There must be an intention of marriage. So it must be expressed. The intention must be expressed. So that would actually bring a presumption to its death. If parties have to express the intention that we are in this for.
What is the understanding by that statement? That presumption of marriage is on its deathbed?
My understanding is that it may not be taken as outright family unless there is that intention expressed by the parties. Yes.
And the Supreme Court also came up with a title, interdependent relationship.
Yes.
How do you differentiate between interdependent relationship and presumption of marriage according to that particular decision of the Supreme Court?
My understanding, Commissioner, is that the Supreme Court said parties can come together and live together, have properties, but without an intention of ultimately getting married or forming a family. And I think that's what they recognized.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You have also mentioned when the Chief Justice asked you about the issue of judicial independence, you mentioned something around the workload, where I may not be able to quote exactly what you said, but it focused more on there is a lot of work, so people are not able to carry their weight. Is that the status?
Yes, there is a lot of work, and my view is that if all officers are committed to carry their weight, it is work that is manageable. Yes.
Okay, because you have recruited over the years, and we are still not hacking it. So it's not the issue of manpower; it's the issue of efficiency.
Thank you, Commissioner. There may be aspect of manpower, because what has happened is that the Kenyans we are serving now are more enlightened. They are pursuing their rights. I think there are more cases coming in than before. So as we clear work, more is coming in.
Okay.
So there's still that aspect.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you, CJ.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair, and welcome again, Honorable Kebiru.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Now, the judiciary has been implementing a transformation agenda since 2010. You have seen where the judiciary was before the promulgation of the Constitution 2010 to the current phase where we are implementing the social transformation through access to justice. Now, what challenges do you anticipate that may impede the realization of this journey, and what possible solutions would you recommend that will help in achieving this agenda?
Thank you, Commissioner. The STARG is a very progressive program that is going to and is creating a lot of change. There could be challenges, and there would be challenges because, of course, to implement, resources are required. I think judiciary is still suffering inadequate resources, and that may be a challenge, one. I think the other challenge would be the need to get out and let Kenyans understand what the judiciary is doing, especially when we talk about the multi-door approach to dispensation of justice. That's mediation, small claims court, AJS, and all that. If Kenyans don't understand and appreciate, that may also be a challenge.
Okay. So how can technology be used to improve access to justice?
Thank you, Commissioner. Technology has been applied in the judiciary, and recently, of course, the e-filing was rolled out in the country. It's a major step that will bring great change because it brings access of justice to many people in different areas. With the ICT, we are doing virtual hearings of people in far-flung areas and even outside the country. They don't have to travel. Issues like filing has become much easier now for litigants. They can do it from their comfort, and that has brought a lot of improvement and change in the access to justice and improvement in the services that we deliver. Things like management of resources I'm thinking about IFMIS and management of data. It is making work much easier, and I believe that it will go a long way in improving the dispensation of justice.
Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
Yes, I was going through your documentation and I noted that you have certificates indicating that you have been trained under the auspices of the NCAJ on active case management.
Yes, Commissioner.
You have?
In fact, I am a member of the Active Case Management Committee.
Great.
Yes.
So could you maybe share with us what are the objectives of pretrial case management in criminal cases?
The objective is to improve.
Give me 5.
5 objectives.
Yes.
Is to make it easier for the court when it is taking the matter to hearing, so that before the matter goes to hearing, everything has been set on the table and parties have agreed on the way forward. That helps in dispensing the justice expeditiously, and it also helps the parties where we confirm parties have received statements or have exchanged documents. It reduces the issue of adjournments in cases.
So you ensure that parties have documents?
Yes.
You also ensure you've narrowed down the issues?
The issues, yes.
Yes, those are 2.
You also ensure that you have the picture of the case, how many witnesses, if there are witnesses who may require the court's assistance to appear, if there are documents that may require time, like the expert documents, all these issues are put on the table, and by the time the case starts, the court has put all these issues. Yes.
Any other that you can think of?
Well, I can't pick it out.
Okay.
Yes.
The other area I want to engage you on is on your performance. We have your performance report from DPOP for the period from 1st July 2023 to 31st December 2023. I believe you are furnished with a copy?
Yes, Commissioner.
And you verified that it's accurate?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, the report is good on your part, at least when it comes to the output. It shows you are carrying more than your weight. Your contribution is expected to be 10%, but it's at 13%, which is good, especially considering you also bear the responsibility of being a head of station, as you have told us. So earlier on, my sister, Commissioner Ngutia, was engaging you, and we were discussing whether it's a question of numbers or a question of efficiency. Now, I'm looking at your case clearance rate in Nyeri. Quite impressive at 116 over 104%. When I say over, I'm referring to the national average. So
Yes.
you are well above the national average. The national average is 104% for all magistrates' courts. Yours is at 116. But your court productivity is very low. The national average is 299, while yours is 185. Now back to the question of efficiency or efficient use of resources, if I can call it that, and numbers. What do you say about your numbers given that data? Remember, your case clearance rate is higher than the national average, but your productivity is lower. Does it tell you anything?
I'm trying to relate the two. And
Okay, you understand how we arrive at the court productivity?
Yes, looking at all the judicial officers and the input of each.
Total number of cases that you've resolved
Yes.
vis-a-vis the number of judicial officers.
Yes.
And the case clearance rate?
The case clearance is the percentage of the total number filed and total number cleared.
Yes. So now, when you look at the national average, magistrates across the nation on average are handling more than you're handling in terms of court productivity.
Yes,
You're getting me?
I get the point.
So, but the case clearance shows you are clearing much more than most magistrates are clearing.
Yes,
So what does it say about your numbers?
that we are. I think that what you are saying, that we are clearing more than what is coming in.
Yes, yes.
So we are
Yes.
clearing backlog and we are clearing. And that's
You're
why that will
clearing,
tell.
you're clearing more cases. That means in
Yes.
terms of distribution,
Yes.
you are more than the other courts. Do you agree with me?
As in,
In distribution of manpower.
you may say that, but I think it is because of the clearance that has reduced the numbers of the matters.
The clearance is high, but
Yeah,
the productivity
without the
is low.
clearance, the numbers would still be high. So it is the clearance as a correlation with the numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you well. Thank you,
Thank
my
you.
lady.
Yes. Now, as a leader in your station, you are expected to ensure that the provisions of Chapter 6 continue to guide yourselves. Would you remember what the guiding principles of leadership and integrity are?
There are quite a number. They include, of course, integrity. It includes professionalism.
Mhm.
It includes participation of the people in the management and decision making, and equality. Quite a number, as per Chapter 6. Yes.
Okay. As a leader, what would you consider yourself as? Transformational, or what type of leadership are you offering?
Commissioner, I consider myself as a transformational leader.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. What are the highlights of the achievements of your transformational leadership?
The highlight of my transformational leadership is creating teams in the stations I've headed to manage the work and deliver core business, and also managing the institution, the resources, the revenue collected, the amount resources allocated to us. I think I have proved that we can transform the institution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Mheshimiwa, maybe you could start by telling us what integrity means to you as an individual.
For me, integrity, Commissioner, means working above reproach, where you work without interference or influence from any quarters.
Would you refer yourself as a person of integrity? And if so, why? What makes you think that you qualify as one?
Thank you, Commissioner. I prefer myself as a person of high standard of integrity, which has been proven by my work ethics throughout my career. There has never been an issue of my compromise in issues of integrity.
Have you come across a situation where your integrity has been put into test?
Thank you, Commissioner. In our line of duty, it's always an issue where you have all manner of people who would want to access to you, maybe to get your ear, to be seen with you.
Please give us one specific incident and tell us how you went about it, and perhaps any lessons that you drew from it.
The one I can recall, Commissioner, is where I was handling a matter in Machakos, and I visited the Virimani Court for an official purpose, and to see me, and I insisted to know what he wanted to tell me, and he mentioned about that matter, and I expressly told him, for matters before me, I do not meet persons on matters that are before me.
What lessons have you drawn from that experience, and maybe any other experiences?
The lessons I've learned through the journey is that as a judicial officer, you have to be always on the lookout. You can never let down your guard. It is easy to, if you are not careful, to find yourself in a situation where you may be deemed to compromise your office. So you have always to be on the lookout and in control.
How do you manage conflict or rejection that comes with your strictness to do the right thing? You know, where people want to compromise you and you stand your ground, because you will not always be in the right place with people because of that. How do you manage?
Thank you, Commissioner. My belief is that a choice to be a judicial officer or a judge is a calling. And once you have chosen that calling, there are sacrifices you have to make. Some of them may be losing friends. Some of them may be losing in activities that you may want to participate. So it's a choice to make. So it has its own consequences, it has its own downs, but once you choose to be on this calling, you got no choice.
Okay.
Yes.
My final question, if you're successful in this bid to become a judge, you will be leading a team, and you know the complexities that come with managing human resource. It's one of the biggest assets an institution has, and therefore you will be expected to handle matters in a certain way. So maybe you could tell us how you would advocate for diversity and inclusivity in the institution if you're successful as a leader.
Thank you, Commissioner. Throughout the journey in this career, I have managed human resource. As a head of station, you find yourself, you are the head HR, and we manage diverse people from diverse backgrounds. What one is required is that you need to treat all people equally without any discrimination. As much as you need to be empathetic, understand them, understand where they are coming from, understand the challenges they are facing, and bring them, build a team. And my always mantra is that build a family wherever you work.
Okay. Any other way other than bringing them together and treating them fairly?
The other way I would think of is, of course, creating opportunities where you can have the people, things like team building. We create time for sports where everybody participates and feels part of the team.
Okay. Why do you think it's important to advocate for diversity?
I think it's a constitutional requirement that we treat everyone equally without any discrimination, and we have a duty to do that wherever we serve.
And as a manager?
And as a manager, you have a duty because the people placed under you look at you as a mentor, and they expect you to guide them. And I think you have a duty to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you'd mention the different strengths that these diverse people bring on board.
Yes. That's
Thank you. I'm satisfied.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. But just to crown it, from the last question you were answering, a few weeks ago we woke up to a call by advocates in Nyeri to go on strike because of dissatisfaction with some judicial officers who are not performing. Maybe you can tell this commission what role you played in ensuring that you perform your duty properly as the end of station, to make sure that you know, the people there are properly served, including the advocates.
Thank you, Your Ladyship. Yes, we had an issue that went out, and I want to confirm to this Honorable Commission that prior to that that day when the issue went out, we had met with the local LSK executive several times on the issues, and we had addressed them. Of course, we had not gotten the solutions we were working on. When the matter came out, I talked to the chairman of the LSK, and he had his issues. He told me the issues had gotten out of his hand because I think it was time for the LSK politics, and there were some advocates who took advantage of it. But we managed the situations. We were able to organize an urgent meeting very early that Monday morning. We gathered the advocates, and they were kind enough to come. We had a long talk. I'm glad the Court of Appeal judges were represented and the High Court, and we came up with resolutions which we are working on. Of course, there was a lack of communication on certain areas which were affecting our judicial officers, and when we did communicate, the advocates understood, and we have agreed on a formula to improve services to our people.
So you successfully brought calm in the station?
Yes, we are very calm now.
Okay.
And very happy.
I hope it will continue like that.
It will, Chief Justice.
Yes, I think this brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you for your time. It's been an engaging time with the commissioners. I wish you well, but before we release you, we always give the candidate an opportunity to ask us a question or tell us something.
Thank you, Your Ladyship. I do not have a question to the Commission. I just wish to thank the Commission for the opportunity to appear again, and I learn a lot from this engagement, and I hope it will help me to be a better servant for our people.
Thank you very much. We wish you well. We will be in communication when the exercise is completed. All the best. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are released.